And we're back.
We're back once again for series 2, season 2. Season's a bit American, isn't it? Series 2, I suppose.
Series 2. I mean, let's say series 2. I tell you what, Ben, it's been a long time coming, isn't it?
It has been a long time coming, and here we are back on Zoom once again.
Still on Zoom.
Still on Zoom.
Ben, why are we still on Zoom?
Well,
can't we actually hug? Can't we actually meet up now?
I mean, if we have to, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, we could, couldn't we?
Should
we do it in person? Let's do it in person. All right, I'll meet you there.
I'll see you in a sec.
Yeah, see you in a second. See you in a second. All right.
Hey, that's better.
It's better.
Look at that.
In person.
It's you.
I know. Oh,
no, better not touch.
No, I'd rather not. Even,
there is still COVID.
Regardless of COVID or not.
Talking of which, why haven't we been on for so long, Mr. Benjamin?
Yeah, so we said we'd be back in what, a couple of weeks?
We said 2 weeks.
We said 2 weeks, about 2 months ago.
Yeah, why?
Because we were all ready to go for it, and then first I had to isolate.
Yeah.
I also had to self-isolate. Then I tested positive for COVID.
Yep.
And it wasn't a pleasant experience.
No, it wasn't.
And so I ended up in hospital.
Hospital.
I ended up in hospital for about a week. And then recovering from her. So it's been quite a long process.
It really has, but we're very glad that you're safe and well.
No, thank you very much. Yeah,
are you old enough to have your first vaccine now?
Well, so
it
became possible today.
Today.
And so I went on and tried to book it, and I did book it in the end.
Yeah.
It was a long process. There was lots of people in the queue, which is a good sign. But eventually I got it booked, and my first one was on Thursday.
Excellent.
I thought it'd be like months in advance.
Quick. I booked mine, and it was next morning.
Well, mine's just round the corner from my work, so I'm going in my lunch break.
Smashing.
What a wonderful lunch.
Smashing.
So I just hope I don't have to teach period for last lesson, otherwise if it's setting me off ill. But we'll see what happens.
No, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Good.
But, hello. First of all, we're just chatting to catch up. We are back. Obviously, as well as COVID, lots has happened, including the fact we are back in our studio.
This is our studio.
I mean, there is stuff behind the camera. It's not just literally these two chairs.
It does look like we're just waiting for dentists.
It does. We need
apart from the pictures of our last performances behind us.
Of Elf. Yeah,
you probably can't see unless you come really close to the screen.
Social distancing.
You could zoom in. Maybe you could zoom in on the camera later. No.
I mean, you're just giving me more work to do. Jill, I'm still possibly recovering.
Stop it.
But, we're back in the studio.
Because tonight is our first live rehearsal.
I'm so excited to be back for a rehearsal. Obviously, all socially distanced and safe.
Outside even.
Outside, it's beautiful. I know. I mean, why are we inside filming this, Jill? But then we're going to, hopefully, once, if the rules relax, we can have a few more people. We can get back to rehearsing in slightly larger groups, but it's just nice to be back.
It really is.
I actually went to see a production, socially distanced production from in Bicester.
Nice.
Over half term. That was really cleverly done, really nice done. All done in a World War II aircraft.
Was it the Hot Mikado one?
It was Hot Mikado. The Mikado.
The Mikado, not okay.
Hot Mikado is like the updated version of the GNS show, but they did the original The Mikado. Okay. It was like concert stage, but it was very cleverly done. They were socially distanced. The audience were socially distanced on tables, but in a World War II hangar. So luckily it was nice weather last week, so it was pretty good. But it was just nice to be watching something again.
Indeed.
And obviously professional theatres are back as well.
Yes.
It's great. It's great stuff. What else has been happening though, Joe? What's been happening with you, personal life? You know about me. I nearly died.
Well,
just elicit some sympathy.
Yeah. But
what
ramp it up now.
What have you been doing?
I've been working, Ben. Mainly working.
Yes. Yeah.
But big news. Birthday yesterday.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday yesterday. Got a very good present.
What did you get?
A boiler.
A boiler. You got a boiler.
A boiler that doesn't go bang.
Jill,
Barry Boiler.
You deserve it.
I thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Barry Boiler's been going bang since about February.
Oh yes, you mentioned it. I think
I mentioned it on the podcast. I was thinking in the background it may have gone bang on a podcast before. So now we have Big Bertha has arrived, and so far she hasn't gone bang. So all's good.
Oh, that is good. That is good.
It's positive.
Well, I do have a gift. I have a gift for you for your birthday.
Is it a boiler?
It's not a boiler.
Does it go with?
It's like I'm gonna
is it a sticker?
It's like I'm going to take the boiler that I bought you back. No. I bought you a couple of little gifts.
Okay. All right.
They're only small. Don't get your hopes up too high. No, not as good as a spoiler.
Okay.
Two things. I'm going to have to hold on to the camera. I've just realised our whole little fancy introduction isn't going to be any good for anyone listening to our podcast.
Oh yeah, because
They'll be like,
they don't know where
what's
we
the
are.
difference?
What's the difference?
But never
We're in
mind.
the studio, everyone.
So your first
It might
gift,
be echo. Oh,
little
my
fridge
goodness,
magnet.
look that right up.
Fridge magnet. For those of you that
Taskmaster.
heard about our little Taskmaster, our Taskmaster challenge.
Lovely.
It's a fridge magnet Taskmaster, and then keeping with the Taskmaster theme because you are my Taskmaster assistant.
I am little Jilly Crowther.
There we go. A slightly bigger one, made of chocolate.
Made of chocolate.
Show the thing.
Show the
Made of
viewers.
chocolate.
Chocolate Taskmaster.
I thought you might like that.
Those are fantastic.
Just a couple of little gifts, presents for you. But I thought, Taskmaster assistant. I thought it was well
We
deserved.
now need to do another Taskmaster.
We may have to do another Taskmaster just to make up for it.
To get
I
it
know.
out.
Well, it's your fault for having a birthday this late.
I know, sorry.
I know, it's absolutely fine. But should we talk about our topic?
You say it, then I'll sing it.
Yeah, we have to leave the pause for the proper one.
Okay.
Remember. So now it's time to talk about our topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week. Oh, it's nicer acoustics in here.
It is.
Yeah.
I've not missed it, I must say. I've not missed that. Give me COVID again. So, our topic of the week this week was we're talking about auditions
We are.
and the audition process. As shows get started again, hopefully, and productions happen again, we might be auditioning for things. I think we'll all be itching to audition for something and be in a production.
Don't be itching when you go into an audition, because that would then count as one of your worst auditions, wouldn't it?
It would.
Or I mean, for you, one of your better ones.
Oh, cheers. I've just got a rash down here. But obviously, as we go back to auditions, what we want to talk about, sort of audition stories, best and worst audition stories, maybe some top tips for auditions.
Top tips.
Because I think, auditions are nerve-wracking, regardless of your age or experience. I still get nervous for auditions, but that's good. Gives you a bit of adrenaline.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, do you want to go first? Have you got any stories from auditions, Jill, or from ones that you've done or you've sat in on as a production team?
So yeah, no, it's so nice when you've been both sides of the table, when we do a bodycut audition night, the kids are always so nervous, bless them, and they come in, they do fantastically, and they get a sweetie, and they love it, and then they go home, and then we get out a big buffet.
Big buffet.
Big buffet, and we quite often take another hour and a half, 2 hours till 11 o'clock at night, working out. I'd like to say we're just working out the right casting, but also we're eating a lot of buffet food.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I've helped, and it's been a very nice buffet.
Very nice.
Got on very late in a school.
Cheese wrapped in meat.
You wrapped it yourself?
No, Marks and
Been
Spencer's
bought.
do it.
It's
Mandy always breakfast. Cheese wrapped in meat.
So it's not a cheap buffet. It's
not a cheap. Oh no.
Not a cheap
Oh,
buffet.
no. And there've been some corking moments when I've been on a panel.
Yeah. I don't want to embarrass anyone.
No, but we've auditioned for shows with American accents and asked the kids when we're going to read with them.
I'm the one reading in.
You're the one. You go, and you went, now I can do an American accent if that would help. Are you gonna? And then, yes, please. Yes, please. Could you do an American accent? And then Ben did an American accent, and the kids didn't. It was so funny.
That was good. That was just testing my American accent for their show, apparently.
And then there are a couple of auditions where the rest of the panel have ended up in tears. But no, like good tears, I don't, because I've got no emotions, apparently. Yeah. I'm evil. A couple of when the girls have sung some songs before, it's just like they get to it's fine, no, that was great. No, honestly, it was great. And they're weeping. Good weeping.
Oh, good weeping. Oh, good.
That was Sound Music, I think, and Kate McLean has asked the person who made her cry to sing at her funeral, which I think is just a bit much.
It's very morbid, isn't it?
It's very morbid.
I mean, how soon does she think it's going to be?
No, it's booked for a long time.
It's booked. She's got it booked in. She's got it booked in.
Have you had any funny experiences either side of the table, as it were?
Oh, definitely. Like, there's always. I think it's fair to say, and I'm sure I've done this myself. There's always interesting interpretations of roles that you, perhaps as a production team member, haven't quite considered, or as someone watching auditions as another cast member, where you go, it's an interesting choice. maybe they haven't read the source material. You know, they're playing like the usual heroic leader's quite a campy guy or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I loved it. But that's the case. I mean, I think it is interesting reading in. I do enjoy reading in at auditions where you're not really
on the panel.
You're not on the panel, so it's
Yeah.
not that responsibility. You're not auditioning, so you haven't got the nerves, and you're just reading in parts. Because I always go to them, well, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to sit? Do you want me to stand? Do you want me to do anything at a certain point? And it was interesting to see who's planned our auditions and who's just goes, oh, do what you want. Because I think it's important to really think through what you want for your audition. And obviously you just get to sort of enjoy it. I remember that I read in for one show, and in it I had to faint. And I think there was about 20 women going for this role. And I had to full on like collapse, and then she had to try and wake me up. And so each time I'm like, oh, for God's sake, just dropping down onto the floor. I was bruised by the end of it. But
we made you gallop across the room for the Spamalot auditions, pretending to clip clop with coconut shells, and you had to do that a lot of
I
times.
had to show how to do the Spamalot horse riding. Yes, that was fun. I mean, I've also had to sing like what you've also made me when I've read in for you for Spamalot. You made me sing the romantic love duet with multiple children that were like, "Oh, you're 9, are you? Okay." It's all right, I'm just like 25, 26.
It's fine.
It's fine, we won't hold hands.
When I auditioned for Robin Hood, the panto, that we're just back to rehearsing for, I think I didn't want anyone to read in with me, so I played both parts.
Yes, you did. You did decide. You did decide you didn't want anyone reading in, and you read both parts. Considering
I thought it through, Ben.
You had thought it through. Considering I was one of the people that could have read it in, I did find it a little bit insulting. But I think me playing 2 parts is better than you, Ben. That's charming. I mean, you know, I think we've all got audition stories, and also sometimes I think we have audition stories that we go, oh my God, that was awful, that was really embarrassing, but actually, probably might have been really good. I always appreciate, you know, even if some audition stories are quite funny, even if someone does do something that you think that's actually quite amusing, regardless, it takes a lot of guts to audition. It takes a lot of nerve.
Ben, where are we going to meet our special guests today?
Yes, so
Tell us do.
We're excited about our special guests because we're still going to, hopefully, as long as things don't go wrong with the camera, we're going to be doing it live.
We are.
We're going to be doing another, as in person rather than on Zoom.
And it'll be a different day, so we don't have to wear the same clothes.
No,
correct?
I hope not, because this is sweaty already. It's hot out there. But on Sunday, it is the auditions for YOBOS, Youth of Banbury Operatic Society, their production of In the Heights. All done, you know, socially distanced and scheduled and everything. But those auditions are on Sunday. I'm directing the production. I'm really excited about it. And so we're going to be interviewing the audition panel in between auditions, which was really exciting. We won't be like, so who's
How
doing
was that?
well? Who's doing well?
Who was that singing?
Especially when I think your daughter's auditioning. What did you think of my daughter? It's not that sort of interview. I mean, it's going to be interesting for me because I'm going to have to sort of ask questions that I perhaps know the answer to.
Yeah.
So tell us about In the Heights,
Yeah.
he says, knowing it because he's the director.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really good because I think it'd be good to hear their stories.
But also because it's on the day, the kind of emotion of it will be even more real. And you think back to how you feel on the day of an audition panel and the stress of it, because actually it's very stressful to be part of the production team and to think, oh God, I haven't yet seen this kind of character, or you know, I'm worried about that person's brilliant, but I can't see who they'd match with, and all those things going on in your head right then live, and we'll hopefully get a little bit of that emotion.
Absolutely, and that's actually a very good point about auditions, isn't it? There's so many factors that factor into why you might or might not be cast. You could give the best audition, but if the person who's you're playing opposite isn't the right fit in terms of age or whatever it may be, you know, even though you may have been together the better audition, it might. There's so many things.
Yeah,
so we will talk to the panel. For you, it'll be in a moment. For us, it'll be in a few days' time. But I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about those auditions as well. And yeah, we'll get those top tips.
So see you then.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Should we walk off?
We'll walk off.
And walk into the next thing.
We'll
in different clothes.
That's a good idea. We'll walk off. But for you guys, please welcome our special guests, the YOBOS production team.
Woo! I've left my presents.
Get your presents. Hello. We are at Longford Park in Bodicott. we're in the sun outside, and trying to get a socially distant shot for the camera has been very fun. But we are here with the YOBOS production team, which includes myself.
Not me.
Not you.
Because I'm not young enough.
You're not young. No, you're not young enough. As we are auditioning today for our summer production of In the Heights, so we'll just. This is the most people we've had, Jill,
yes.
on the podcast.
Obviously.
I apologise to our listeners because they're going to hear cars going by, but this is the best we can do. Deal with it. So let's go around and just introduce who you are and your roles. So we'll start over here.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I am an eternal YOBOS member, trying to stay young, but I am taking on the role of the production manager for this show, so I'm keeping all these guys in check and making sure that everything that you're going to see on the stage, which is going to be amazing, will be amazing.
And obviously Amanda has been a guest on the podcast before. She's our first recurring guest.
She really is.
Yeah, exactly. She can't get enough of this. Next, down on the floor there. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alice. I am.
Good projection.
Projection.
Just to feed.
Projecting because.
I would have think I'd be a singer, but obviously not. I am choreographer for YOBOS currently. Yeah. That's it.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm the musical director of In the Heights this year.
Hi, I'm Emily. I am the ex-musical director for YOBOS, but I'm here this year as mentor to Ben, as this is his first show here with us.
And what are you actually doing today?
I am playing piano today.
Over and over again. Are your fingers hurting?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure they will be by the end of the day.
Just put the backing track.
Exactly.
So this episode we are talking about auditions and the process of auditioning. So obviously it's perfect that we're here. Obviously we have done about 8 auditions so far. We're on our lunch break, so let's not let this go on too long because we're hungry. But we're on the lunch break. What do you, I mean, first of all, my first question actually is, considering it's been so long since we've auditioned or sat in an auditioned or auditioned ourselves perhaps, what does it feel like to be back auditioning people? Amanda, do you want to?
Amazing. It's been so long, and you know, obviously we had the In the Heights Taster Day last year, and then that got, you know, COVID came and locked the country down, and that was that. So it's been a year where this has kind of hung over us. But the people have walked in here today and just knocked it out of the park with the auditions, and it's just so wonderful to see. It's fab.
I feel like they've used the 2 years we've had to delay very, very well since they found out about the show. It has been nearly 2 years, hasn't it? So there have been some incredible auditions. Ben, this is your first auditions on this side.
This is the first time on this side of the table, yeah.
So what's the first thing that jumps out at you as being different?
It's less scary, but it's really fun to see what everybody else brings, like, and to see different. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really exciting to see how different but also similar everybody's auditions are.
So you've clustered characters together today, have you? So you're seeing
Not quite.
Not quite. Oh,
No,
okay.
just because of COVID rules, we've done a. Everyone's being sort of grouped into similar characters because they've, rather than letting everyone audition for every single part, we've suggested people just narrow it down to 1 or 2. So it's not been possible to necessarily group them that way, but it keeps it more interesting for us because we're seeing different audition pieces throughout the day, aren't we?
So that will be the interesting thing, to see people's different interpretation of the same character. I always think that's
Definitely.
great
Definitely.
fun.
Yeah. So in terms of the process, obviously it is a bit different this year because of the rules currently. So usually we would have a dance audition, but we're not doing a dance audition this year. How are you finding that, Alice, with no dance audition?
I mean, I'm just chilling.
You've got a nice time.
Sitting back and relaxing.
I mean, there's no dance audition, there's no acting
No.
audition because the show's sung through. So really, it's them two, and we're just having a great time watching
Having a whale of a time.
these amazing people perform.
Sunbathing in our breaks, it's great.
But you saw them dance at the Taster Days.
Yes, yeah, they dance at a Taster Day. And we have a couple dancing today who are going for Graffiti P, who is predominantly a dance part. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, so there is one. They're doing a dance audition instead of a singing audition.
Cool.
Yeah. So Emily, you've obviously been MD and been on, you've been someone who's been on both sides, as most of us have. We've auditioned and been on that side of the panel. What are the differences for you in terms of, you know, going from being a performer on one side to being, what do you look out for?
Oh, I mean, the first time I sat on like the panel side of it, I found it so actually enlightening as a performer. So like I actually learned so much about what a panel looks for, because you're sat there looking for it, which I found really useful, like just to take in and just go, oh, if I was sat on this panel, what would I be looking for? And I think I actually found it educational, I guess, to sit on that panel the first time. And actually every time you do, you see people come in and bring different things to the table, and you can always learn from something that's there.
I'm going to do quick fire.
Go on.
Perfect singing or perfect characterisation? One or t'other.
Characterisation.
Perfect dance or good face?
Oh, face all the time.
How shallow?
I can't think of any more. I wish I'd thought more.
I was going to say, you were well enthusiastic about your quickfire round, and then you've
Quickfire
asked two
round.
things. Shall I give you
End of the quickfire
do
round.
something.
That's
Oh
how
no,
quick
I
it was.
don't throw that on me. This is your thing. You've put yourself into this situation.
In this circumstance, good rapping or good singing?
You asking me?
Yes,
this?
now, because you are
Good
actually
rapping
the
or
director.
good singing? Good singing.
Okay. Good rapping or good singing? Same question to the MD.
I've got this.
Good singing.
No, it's because that's what he said.
I think with this show though, obviously the MD might change it, might say differently, but with this show, it is a different type of show than we've ever done before, and the rapping bit is the new bit.
Yeah.
So I think that is the thing
need
we
both.
know we will work on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
what people have bought is amazing.
yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing we know we're going to work on. And I mean, we work on the singing as well, but you know, that's not something that we can just say, well,
It's a
everyone can
challenging
rap.
show, though, isn't it? It is a challenging show because of that, because the songs are not easy songs,
No.
and the rapping is not easy rapping.
There's
It's
a lot of words.
Fast.
You know, it's not like John Barnes. It's only rounded up finds that
Ask the
funny.
parents. Ask the parents.
We'll leave that to the old gang over there. Does anybody have then? Does anybody have any stories? Or well, that in a moment.
Okay.
But does anyone have any like stories about their own auditions or auditions they've sat in without trying to embarrass anyone, apart from yourselves? Does anyone have any sort of stories about auditions that they've come out of and gone, oh my god, I can't believe I did that, or funny, or ones that stand out? Anyone at all?
It's going to be a quick podcast if you don't.
I had an audition fairly recently that was in front of a panel of 15, which was the most terrifying audition I've ever done in my life. Sat there with notebooks at the back of a theatre. I was like, oh my lord, walked in and went, okay, I could barely see you. And they had a PA system. But I guess the thing is, a PA system to talk to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess the situation is it's the same as wherever. It's you go in and you just be yourself. But
Yeah.
Wow.
that's my most terrifying audition.
Yeah.
And for some
Yeah.
people, that might be nice, not be able to see them.
Yeah.
Because I do think, especially with the kids, when they come in and it's really close to, and also if they know you, then that actually adds another layer, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
But it's interesting that you said you just come in and be yourself, and that's fine. I actually approach auditions as
Never
being
coming-
somebody totally different.
me
It's not me that's out there. No, don't judge me.
Yeah.
And I can only, because I found auditions the most scary part. Like beforehand, I'm totally panicking, but I put the character in my head,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, right, okay, now judge me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that works
yeah.
differently for different people.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. Well, me and Amanda, we talked about this previously earlier on the podcast. But I mean, I've read in before. Me and Amanda have both read in before, sometimes for YOBOS productions, and I quite enjoy that. What do you think about reading in?
Yeah,
Do you enjoy that process?
It's fun, but I do have to remind myself I'm not the one auditioning and get carried away with it. You know, It's
You're the
like,
one.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just helping.
It's about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me. Yeah.
I say I like
But it is fun.
when they give us lots of direction, and then we've got to try and remember it
Yeah.
as we go through.
And it's like, but then it's great because then you see, you know, if you do throw something that you think they might cope with, and they do, and they feed off it, then it's just like, oh yes, bingo.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we go top tips
Let's
then?
go top tips.
Because
Then
to
I'll
round
let you
up,
eat your
so
lunch.
so we can have lunch. Because it's going to be a long old day.
And you're
so-
going to record something right at the end of the day for the end of the podcast. Don't forget.
Oh yes, I will record.
Because I think that's interesting for people, how hard it is to be on a panel, because I think when you come in and do your audition, you think that's the hardest part of the day, but actually the hardest part of the day comes right at the end when you've actually got to go, oh, weren't they all wonderful? And now we've actually got a cast.
Oh. Well, with who we've seen so far, we haven't even seen half of the cast, and already we're like, this is going to be difficult. It's going to be so tricky. But yes, what are our top tips? One top tip from each of you for people who are going into an audition. What is your top tip? Amanda, I'm throwing it to you first, and we'll go round.
I'd say a prop. If you can have some sort of prop, because it gives you something to hold, deal with, work with, and start. You know, if you're the kind of person who is nervous, who shakes, who fidgets, whatever, it takes that away, and it gives you something to kind of build on your performance with and get into the character with. So I would always say think about a prop or something, you know, imagine a clothing or something.
Alice.
Just as cliche as it is, just breathe, because I think just stepping back from the situation and just relaxing into it just takes so much away from you.
Yeah.
And also a song from the show.
Well,
Exactly.
just got to throw it in there.
Good plug.
Very good.
Emily.
I'd say remember that the panel want you to do well. Like, the panel is sat there wanting to see the best of you so they can cast the show as best as they can. And actually, they're not there just going, what are they doing wrong? It's like, let me see the best of this person.
Ben?
Alice actually took mine, so thank you. Otherwise, I would say prepare until you can't do it wrong. And then when you perform in it, you will do the best you can.
Good. Well, thank you.
Have we done a top tip? I think we should.
We probably
Before
should,
stop,
shouldn't we?
Quick.
Someone's got music going. I think my top tip would be just embrace the nerves. I think anyone who says that they don't get nervous at all is probably lying or is overly confident. Actually, I think a little bit of nerves, they might go when you start performing and you're like, oh okay, I'm fine now. But I think on the day, those butterflies are good. You embrace them, you enjoy them, and you know that everyone's feeling nervous. So you're all in the same boat.
Yeah. But my other one is trust the panel.
Good, yeah.
Which sometimes it's hard to do, but I know when everyone writes on their forms normally for an audition, I'm going for this is my part I'm going to audition for, but I don't mind any. Genuinely, the panel will make those calls and they'll make the right calls for the show. And I know so many times people come after, so I'm a bit squidge, and then when they see the show, they go, oh, I see why you cast it like that. So trust this lot. If you're a YOBOS person watching our podcast, they'll know by the time the podcast goes out, they'll know what parts they've got.
They should do, yes. They'll know by this point. But yeah, absolutely. But thank you to the YOBOS team.
Thank you for letting us
sorry for the traffic. And yes, we will see you next time for another episode.
But he'll have had an after podcast bit, so don't.
Oh yeah, don't go to Edge. Don't go to Edge just yet.
I'll see you next time.
Don't go to Edge just yet.
Go. Turn it off, Ben. Run to it, Ben.
So, we said there'd be a little bit extra at the end here. Basically, we wanted to point out just how long the audition panel's day can be sometimes. Whilst the cast is obviously prepared massively for their audition, the production team have been working so hard throughout the day as well, and then have a really difficult discussion. And I'll tell you something, today's discussion for YOBOS production of In the Heights is the hardest, toughest discussion I've ever had. And I know often that's said a lot of these productions, but I truly mean it. It's the hardest set of auditions I've ever had to judge. There was so much talent. I mean, some characters, it took us over an hour of discussion before we came to a decision. And even then, we sometimes went back and forth. There was so much talent. I feel very lucky. We feel very lucky to have such an incredible cast. But to give you an idea of time, I've just hit post on the cast list and I've just posted it on Facebook. So that's me done for the day. Hopefully there's no comments or complaints I have to deal with. But it is now 10 p.m. on Sunday. We started at 9:30 this morning. So that's about 13 hours of pretty much non-stop work. We did get a little bit of time to sit in the sun, at which point I burnt myself. But never mind, as in on the sun, not on like a weird oven. But there's worse ways spend a Sunday than sitting in the sun occasionally and watching incredible talent. So yeah, we've walked you through some of the audition processes. Let us know if you have any great audition stories that you want to share, or moments that you're really proud of, because I'm certainly feeling very proud today. But thank you. Hope you enjoyed the return of Treading the Boards, the Amateur Theatre podcast, and we will see you next week for another episode. Bye-bye.